ago, a great man saw the need to take a race of individuals out of the change, to move a group of individuals that had been taken from life, taken from their spirit of existence, taken from their native land, and declare them free. That great man was Abraham Lincoln. 20 years later, the Supreme Court of the United States of America ruled the Civil Rights Act of 1875 unconstitutional 133 years ago. The mere act that simply stated that all people are to be treated equally and that you should have equal access to government programs and government facilities. And after that, you can imagine the challenges that people endured. You could imagine the headaches and the heartaches and the tears that were shed. But there were some people that were smart enough to know in order to lift the population, we need to educate them. And it was 20 years after that, 113 years ago, that Dr. Joseph Winfrey Holly decided that right here on this field, right here beside that river, we were going to build an institution to lift our people out of the burdens, to give them the minds to think for themselves and education to move to places where they wanted to move. We are here today to celebrate the vision of that amazing man. We are here to celebrate the growth and the excitement and the many things that Albany State University has before us. We're here to celebrate each other because without us, we would not have an institution. We are here to celebrate. Keep that in mind as we move forward today. It is truly an honor to stand here today as your presiding officer, your MC, your man in charge of the mic, whatever you want to call me, Teddy Reese, class of 2003, Albany State University. I had a wonderful time at this institution. As I look around this room, I see faces of so many individuals that were not afraid to pull me by the arm and say, young man, you need to do something differently. Or, young man, I'm proud of you, because it's rare people tell you when you're doing good things. But they did that. They did that. We do that. That's why we are Albany State University. That's why we love our blue and gold. And that's why we love this institution. It was this institution that taught me leadership and allowed me to serve 2 terms as the Student Government Association president. It was this institution that allowed me to serve on committees with Governor Sonny Perdue and Secretary of State Kathy Cox at a young age. Opportunities many African-American men will not see and do not see around this nation. Again, I welcome you. And someone else will welcome you again, but I want to say welcome to the people I know. And those of you who are strangers, you will get a professional welcome from the person that we have on the program. The program will proceed as printed. We will have our welcome by Miss Ingrid Driscoll, Esquire, and then we will have our occasion by Mr. Julius B. Collins, Esquire.
Good afternoon. To Dr. Art Dunning, President of Albany State University, the Honorable Karen Baines Dunning, First Lady of Albany State University, the Honorable Dorothy Hubbard, Mayor of the Good Life City, Ms. Joycia Ricks, Esquire, President of the Albany State University National Alumni Association, Dr. Carmen Camille McGee, keynote speaker for Founders Day. Our speaker for the afternoon, the Honorable Shandina Cruz Morris, distinguished and esteemed alumni of this great institution, faculty, staff, students, student leaders, friends, and to each of you whom I've not mentioned specifically by name, title, or rank, welcome. We are truly delighted to have each of you here to continue with the celebration of 113 years of Albany State University. Founders Day is a time of reflection, and it's a time for traveling down memory lane. Our theme for this year, Albany State University, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, is indeed most fitting for this Founders Day celebration as we all embark upon this new adventure, which is Albany State University, by continuing to serve the educational needs of a diverse population while proudly remembering Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holley and his purpose, vision, and historic mission for our great institution. Prepare yourselves to be challenged, excited, and inspired as we continue with our celebration of 113 years of Albany State. Before I hand over to my good friend, colleague, and fellow alumnus Julius Collins, who will present the occasion, I want to say once more, on behalf of the Albany State University Alumni Association, welcome. It's a pleasure to see each of you here this afternoon. Thank you.
As y'all can see from time to time, I try to be a gentleman. You all bear with us. There's a few attorneys on this panel, so they may be a little long-winded. I'm gonna be very brief. Today, that brings us all together to 113 years of pure excellence. Who would have ever thought years ago that the son of former slave owners would go on to found this great institution? A visionary, true to his roots, a president of the people, a true martyr to the formation of an institution devoted to higher education of African Americans. Now, those are just a few words and phrases that describe Dr. Joseph Holly, a true trailblazer in every sense of the word. In 1903, after purchasing land for his vision, Dr. Joseph Holly did indeed found what we all call our alma mater. And some of the current students that are here, they still call it their institution. The occasion is simple. The occasion that brings us all together today is to celebrate Dr. Joseph Holly and our beloved founder and 113 years of a past to cherish and a future to fulfill.
Wow. Wow. Let's give it up. If that didn't take you back to a nice, soothing evening where you're sitting at home, just relaxed, listening to the radio, some of you before they invented TV, but just listening to the radio and some good music. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Thank you, Attorney Driscoll and Attorney Collins, for your welcome and your occasion. At this time, we will have greetings, appropriate greetings from our beautiful, honorable Mayor Dorothy Hubbard and Dr. Art Dunning, President of Albany State University, and Ms. Josiah Ricks, Esquire, President of the ASU National Alumni Association. And following that, we will have the invocation and the grace, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm a little hungry. And I think it's time to eat. And as you see, I don't miss a meal. So we're going to have that by Mr. Gregory Hollick, the past president of the ASU National Alumni Association. Thank you.
That was awesome, y'all. I don't know if I want to come behind that, but thank you all. It was awesome, great. It is always a pleasure for me to be in the presence of my Ram sisters and brothers. And certainly I am delighted to be here this afternoon to greet you as mayor of the Good Life City and to greet you on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Albany, Georgia. We are here this afternoon to pay tribute to the legacy of our founder, Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holley, at this Founders Day Luncheon. And we are also celebrating 113 years of academic excellence. We are here to celebrate and remember that our founder was a Christian minister. And so our institution, as you've heard earlier today, was built on Christian foundation, on a Christian foundation. And he laid the groundwork for our beloved institution on Christian principles. Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holley knew that you couldn't build a chimney from the top. That's why he thought it important to lay a solid foundation. So he built this foundation knowing that it would stand the test of time, knowing that it would stand the blowing of the strong winds, knowing that it would stand the test of the strong storms, and knowing that it would even stand flood waters rising and raging. Dr. Holley's dream lives on through each of us. He laid the foundation and set the Christian principles for us to follow. I greet you and welcome you here this afternoon to our annual Founders Day Luncheon. And I salute our founder, Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holley, for laying a strong foundation for our institution to survive. Albany State University surviving today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Thank you.
Greetings as well. I spoke to the group this morning, and each time I think about Founders Day, I think about what the mayor just said. How do you build something that stands the test of time, and also something that's so lasting that 113 years later we still celebrate? Nothing speaks more about us as being smart enough to know something major happened 113 years ago, and that we're wise enough to continue to celebrate it year in and year out. One of the things that Dr. Holley brought to this part of the state was learning and scholarship. And that was something that was a rare commodity during that time when he came here. So what we have here now is a number of scholars and faculty members and students who are as strong as any group in the country. That's an extraordinary testimony to what his foresight was about Albany State University. We have a lot of changes going on, and I was thinking as we were talking earlier about the new Fine Arts Center, which would be about $21.9 million, that will bring a state-of-the-art facility for people who wish to study music, fine arts, and the liberal arts. All of our students take that for the first 2 years, but we're looking for students who wish to spend a life of thinking and doing and practicing in the fine arts. One of the things that I think is important to all of us to understand is that this change throughout Dr. Holley's 113 years, he had 2 or 3 things that I don't know how he stood the test of time. He had World War II from World War I from 1917 to 1919. He had the Depression at the end of 1920s. How do you keep something open with the Depression going on in America? He had World War II in the 40s. And then he had the Civil Rights Movement. All of that was going on while Albany State was still humming along. And that's a testimony to something that's very strong and very deep in this part of the state and also in this nation. What I want all of us to understand that we need to stay the course and kind of embrace this institution and keep it in your heart and in your thoughts. And it's also your passion about what you do as you think about your civic life and your responsibility. There's nothing more important than each generation looking back on the coming generation to help them get educated and to be good citizens and to be good people in a community and also indeed a nation. That's our task here. I want to just mention 2 things about where do we go from here. We have a couple of things that I will talk a little bit about later, but with all this change going on, higher education has become a very competitive environment, and it's competitive for students, it's competitive for funding, it's competitive for attention. And what we're trying to do with this sort of transition is make sure Albany State comes out of this stronger, bigger, and better, that each year you come back, you'll be deeply, deeply proud and be assured that we're staying the course. We couldn't do this without your help. We had an event Saturday night at the Commerce Club in Atlanta. I've never been more proud than to see a group of people who are enjoying celebrating that institution, celebrating what learning is all about, and then giving. You cannot make this society work without you serving. If it's all a society of takers, it breaks down. If you don't think about giving, it's never going to work. And so those of you who showed up and also gave of your time and gave of your resources, you're giving to the young people. You're not giving it to anybody here but these young folks you see that we're trying to educate day in and day out. So thank you for being here and thank you for staying the course.
Good afternoon. I welcome and greet you to this year's Founders Day Luncheon as we continue to celebrate and commemorate the founder of our institution, Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holley. We are especially honored to have today with us members of the Holley family. We are also honored to have each of you in your various capacities at this luncheon. The event menu for today is food for the soul. It affords the opportunity for fellowship, words of encouragement and perspective from our speaker, and a delightful, nourishing meal. Who could ask for more at this celebration? Well, you might. But what I've indicated is the extent of today's menu. Remember, fried fish, collard greens, and peach cobbler are not served at Italian restaurants. So enjoy today's menu. It is food for our souls.
Immediately after her birth, she lifted her head as to say, "Hello, world, I'm here. I'm here to make a difference." And a difference she is making. Judge Morris is a native of DeKalb County, Atlanta, Georgia. Her leadership qualities and political astuteness began to surface as a student at Lakeside High School. She received her undergraduate degree in communication from the University of Georgia, the master's degree in criminal justice from Albany State University, and the Juris Doctor from the Walter F. Joyce School of Law, Macon, Georgia. Judge Morris began her career as a prosecutor in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. She quickly won conviction after conviction as a part of the trial division. Within 3 years, she was transferred to the major felony division and was known among her peers as a quiet force of nature. In 2008, District Attorney Paul Howard promoted Judge Morris to the position of Deputy District Attorney. In that capacity, she headed the Crimes Against Women and Children Unit, the Public Integrity Unit, and the Community Prosecution Unit. Judge Morris's noteworthy accomplishments have earned her a number of awards and recognitions. These awards include Trial Award for Outstanding Advocacy in Capital Crimes and Capital Cases 2009, Attorney of the Year 2008, a Rising Star by the Daily Report 2009, and one of Georgia's most powerful and influential attorneys in Women's Looking Forward, or Looking Ahead magazine. She recently received the South Fulton Outstanding Citizenship Award. In 2015, Governor Nathan Deal examined her record as an award-winning prosecutor and appointed her to the newly established State Court of DeKalb County Traffic Division. Her passionate commitment to her community is not just steeped in her professional career. In her spare time, Judge Morris is a passionate volunteer and a proud member of the State Bar of Georgia Board of Governors, the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, the Gate City Bar Association, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Junior League of DeKalb, board member of the International House of Women, and the advisory board member for the Criminal Justice Program at Atlanta Technical College. Judge Morris is married to attorney Joe Morris III, and they are proud parents of 2 young children, Joe and Harmony. Now, how do I know she lifted her head immediately after her birth? I'm her mother. Albany State University, I present to you the love of my life, the Honorable Judge Shandina Cruz Morris.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Mommy, thank you for such a wonderful introduction. You can't get any better than your mother introducing you. And to President Dr. Dunning and Mayor Hubbard, and to the counselors, and to our National Alumni Association President Joycia Ricks, thank you all. And thank you all, each of you, for being here today to share this moment with me. And you know, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because this is such an honor and such a privilege for me to stand before you today. Because not only is Albany State University an outstanding and excellent institution, but this is family. This is home. And when I say that this is family and this is home, it is nothing like being able to come home and spend time with family. See, what most of you all do not know is that Albany State, the blue and the gold runs deep, deep into my blood, into my veins. I think if you cut me today, you would probably see that it's blue and gold. And it is because of people like my mother and like you that I am here today. You know, Thurgood Marshall, who was the first African-American justice of the Supreme Court of the United States of America, was quoted saying, "None of us got here where we are. We didn't get here solely by ourselves, but we got here by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got here because somebody, a parent, a teacher, and lead crony, or a few nuns bent down and helped to pick us up by our boots. And each of you are why I am standing here today. And the 113 years ago with Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holley, who laid the foundation and is the sole reason why I and others can stand here today. You know, in preparing my remarks for you all, I wanted to do some research on some notable alumni. And I did a Google search, and I did a Wikipedia search, and I looked at Yahoo, and what I found was this. You know, yes, there are some notable alumni, such as James Holmes, who was the first African-American director of the United States Census Bureau. And yes, we have Beatrice Johnson Reagan, who was a social activist, a curator emeritus at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. And yes, we have Shirley Sherrod, who was a civil rights advocate, a former Georgia State Director of Rural Development for the United States Department of Agriculture. But what I realized is that, you know, Google is missing something, and Wikipedia is missing something, and so is Yahoo, because what they're missing, they need to update their information, because they didn't have notable alumni such as you know, the people who are here today who had such an impact on the thousands and thousands of students at Albany State University, like our very own. And if you would, please stand when I call your name. Our very own Joycia Ricks, who is an attorney, an activist, a firecracker to make sure that we don't have injustice, and who is our national Albany State Alumni president. And Miss Maria Boynton, please stand, who is our celebrity radio personality, our journalist at B103, and our Prince Brown and Jimmy Brown, who have been here, who have stood the test of time to making sure that Albany State University Foundation was in place so our students can receive the scholarships and the education that they deserve. And Jean Lynn, please stand. Because it was yesterday while I was having dinner, she was on the phone, and not only was she on the phone, but she was talking to the admissions saying, you all better make sure that these 15 students get their scholarships if they are coming to Albany State University. I don't care what you have to do, but they are going to be here. So it's people like them who are our yesterday. But not only that, Evelyn Morrison. Evelyn, I saw Evelyn. I saw Evelyn. Thank you. You know, it was Evelyn who adopted her baby brother after her mother passed and made sure that he would be able to receive a well and quality education from Albany State University. So he was able to go on and be an artist and a songwriter. People like this who have led the way. And people like Judge Fred Eady, who was the first African-American male on the state court of Fulton County, as well as Judge Tangela Berry, who is the chief judge in DeKalb County Superior Court. Samuel Hobbs, I know I saw Mr. Hobbs here, who has been there and who has supported students after students after students for decades and decades. And so last but definitely not least, my mother, Ruby Dean Hall Cruz, who all of you all who have inspired me to be what I can be and who have led the way. So I just want to personally say thank you. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You know, it was yesterday in 1992 that Albany State was in the top 10 of the nation for its criminal justice program. And that is why I decided to attend Albany State College and receive my master's degree in criminal justice. You know, it was the Albany State University's graduation rate. And now I want to talk to you about today. Albany State University's graduation rate is the 4th highest among University of Georgia State universities. The master's level programs are listed among the best universities with master's programs by the Washington Monthly. Albany State University ranks number 4 in education degrees and number 11 in math degrees conferred for African Americans. Albany State University has been featured in Ebony magazine as a top liberal arts and top law-related school. Today, I stand before you as the first, and let me repeat that, as the first person, not only as the first person, but the first African-American person, but not only as the first person and the first African-American person, but the first African-American person, first African-American female in the entire state of Georgia, which is the home of approximately 10 million people, who was appointed by the governor of the state of Georgia as the judge of the newly created Court of DeKalb County, which resolves over 300,000 cases a year. And so it is most people's first contact and most people's only interaction with the justice system, and I, a proud representative and a proud product of Albany State University, can show them about integrity, about honesty, and about justice, and about fairness. This is Albany State University. I want to share with you a couple of experiences so you can better understand and appreciate this great institution on Founders Day. You know, last Friday, I spoke to approximately 60 young women, African American females at the Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. And this is an all-girls middle school, and we were doing a Journey to Judge program. And if you can see it, you can believe it. And I am definitely a firm believer of that. So a young lady, during our program, she went to the mic and she said, I have a question for you all. There were about 6 of us, African American judges, males and females, and she said, this is my question. How do you overcome, or how do you succeed when people tell you that you will fail? And how is it that you overcome, and how is it that you become a judge when people say that that can never happen in our community? And we were looking perplexed, and we really did not know how to respond to that. And the reason that we were so perplexed is because we never experienced that. You know, nobody ever told any of us, and no one here has ever said that it's nothing that you can't do. You know, actually, it was quite the opposite. You know, I was always told from a very young age, you know, at the Albany State picnics when I was this high, you know, and watching the Golden Rams and getting ready for homecoming. Baby, what is it that you want to do? You know, do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a scientist? Well, you better come to Albany State. You knew that you were going to succeed. And so now we are faced and challenged with our students and our youth wondering, hey, how do you deal with that? And those are some of the challenges that we must deal with. And as alumni, we must face those challenges and help our youth, like you all helped us. Another challenge. Today, my husband and I will celebrate 10 years of marriage. It's a wonderful thing. I think I'll keep it. And he is not here today because he is with our children. And we did not want to take our son out of school. Our son is 6 years old. So we have a son, Joe, who is 6 years old, and he's attending public school, and he's doing quite well. He's very active, to say the least, but he's a great young individual. And we also have an 11-month-old, and her name is Harmony. And I say this because with Harmony is not our biological child. We are in the process of foster to adopt. And as I was going through the nomination process of the judicial appointment, we received a call one day from a DFACS case manager saying, hello, Ms. Morris. Yes, Ms. Morris, my name is Ms. Suber, and I was just calling to tell you that there was a couple, and this couple suffered from some drug addictions. And as a result, there is an infant, and this infant is 3 days old, and this infant is positive for methamphetamines. And Ms. Morris, these are really your options. The parents wanted you to take this child because they can't take this child home. And you can either come and get this child from Rockdale Medical Center, or this child will go into a group home until we can hopefully find foster placement. So my response was, is this a joke? Do you have a roll number? Really? Who is this? Who is this? And she's like, no, I'm not joking. So on a day when I was just going to work with one child, a 6-year-old, thinking that life is, fine, prosecuting crimes, holding people accountable, making sure that our community is safe, but trying to help our youth in any kind of way that we can, I now am a mother of 2. And so the reality set in. It's like, well, what do we do with this child, and what do we do with children like her? And I tell you what, and I tell you this because this is how it ties in with Albany State University. Today in the United States, over 400,000 of the nation's total children are in foster care. Today, 97,000 of the nation's African American children are in foster care. In Georgia alone, there are approximately 10,000 of our children that are in the foster care system. Less than 40% of our foster youth complete high school by the age of 18. 84% of 17 to 18-year-old foster youth want to attend college. Did you know that? 84% want to attend college, but only 20% of the foster youth graduate from high school and attend college. And more disturbing and more alarming is that only 2 to 9% of all former foster youth in Georgia ever receive a bachelor's degree. And so if you wonder, like, well, why am I talking about foster and youth and education? It is because our children are our future. Now, I talked to you about yesterday and how you all were able to help me and thousands of others succeed and become successful and to be productive citizens and make a difference in this nation. And I told you about today. So today, where we are in an area and a community where we have 10,000, just 10,000 African American youth. And they need and deserve an education, a quality education as well. And they need someone to come in and somebody to help them and somebody to encourage them and somebody to pull them up by their bootstraps like you all did with me so they can be successful citizens. And it was like Dr. Holly's goal and his vision was to find those opportunities and provide an institution like Albany State University where they can accomplish that. And not just only our foster youth, but our children, period, our children, our high school students, and our college students. Albany State University provides that foundation, those opportunities, and lifts them up and gives people the vision that they need to grow. And that is why I will forever, ever, ever be indebted to Albany State University. And that's why we have to give back. So I challenge you, as we have heard all through the day, that Dr. Holly's vision is we can and we will change the world. We will educate the world. This is an opportunity for higher learning, for education, and we must remember that on this Founders Day, remember where we were yesterday. Think about where we are today and see us in our future so we can fulfill our future. As our motto is, a past to cherish, a future to fulfill. And remember that with our mission. Thank you all so much.
Please, let's give Judge Steve Martin another round of applause. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna have our national president up here the stage with us, and please join us. Help me welcome to the mic again, President Riggs, for the presentation.
We all fall. We also. First, I want to speak to my long-term friend, a partner in crime, a compassionate person, a devoted alumni, Ruby Cruz. We had any number of conversations, as she would say to me, what am I going to do with Shandi? And I'd say, first you're going to pray. And then you're going to back a little bit. Give her some space so that she can have her wings and take flight. When Shandina joined the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, why she got to go to the criminal division? It's going to be all right. And yes, Shandina, we remember when you were a little girl and you were at the activities of the association because your mom insisted that you come. I thought she would have a heart attack when she said to me, Shandina is going to the University of Georgia. I said, Ruby, step back, take a breath, and say another prayer. And so, God in His wisdom, and because this was where she needed to be because of the excellence of the criminal justice program at Albany State University, Shandina made her way to this institution and proudly represents us as an alumnus. Consistent with history and tradition, Shandina, will you come forward? As I present to you this plaque which says, in appreciation to Honorable Shandina Cruz Morris, Founders Day Luncheon Speaker, April 1st, 2016, Joyce Ricks, President. Well, we've had a real celebration and commemoration, notwithstanding the weather scenario that is occurring outside. We're here. I believe in the words of Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict the future is to create it. And as we face the challenges of tomorrow, as we remember the struggles of the past, as we live in the present, the best way to create the future lies with us. Our business meeting is scheduled in Peace Hall in room 127. I encourage you to come and participate. Following the business meeting, we will have the most wonderful opportunity for engagement and that is with our students at the fish fry, which I understand now will be held in Sanford Hall. So I look forward to seeing you at the business meeting. I look forward to seeing you at the Alumni fish fry. I thank you for your presence today. I beg and encourage your commitment through efforts and your funds to support Albany State University for the future. Thank you again.
We will have the benediction now by Mr. Holly, and following that, we will join together in the singing of our alma mater. And this will be the last time that I will present to you. It's truly been an honor to preside over the program today as we celebrate 113 strong years of Albany State University, and may the university see 113 more strong years moving forward. Thank you.
Let us bow for the benediction. Father God, again we come, we thank you for your grace, we thank you for your mercy. Father, we thank you for giving us a glorious day. We thank you for what our eyes have seen, our ears have heard, and our hearts have felt. Father, again we thank you for the founder, Dr. Joseph Winthrop Holly, and the legacy which he has left and which we continue to build upon. Father, we thank you for his family. We ask again that you will grant them safe traveling grace back to their homes and their different stay places. Father, again, we ask your blessings upon this occasion as we prepare to leave. We ask now that you will dismiss us from this place, but never from your presence. And we'll be so careful as to give you all the praise, the honor, and the glory. For in the blessed name of your Son, Jesus the Christ, we pray. And all God's children said, amen. Amen.
Albany say, we dearly love you, whose walls are inscribed with knowledge so true. So silently built on this foundation, a union of word and inspiration, teachers for those who strive for success, to be in praises above all the rest. Thy jubilant colors of blue and gold will ever honor and ever behold. Thy name is an anchor upon my sea, and sailing we put our trust in thee. In thee, dear school, we see all the best. To thee we will pray.